A very good morning. To build on the news releases yesterday, I would like to give you a briefing first and then take your questions afterwards. After nearly 2 years, the annual China-EU summit was held yesterday. It's the most important high-level exchange between the two sides this year. Amid growing global instability, China-EU relations are facing new opportunities and challenges. The summit is therefore highly important. Leaders of the two sides had long and in-depth exchanges of views on China-EU relations, Ukraine, and other international and regional issues. The two sides gained a better understanding of each other's position and achieved consensus and results as follows. First, the summit provided political guidance and strategic planning for China-EU relations. Both sides spoke positively of the role the summit plays in providing strategic guidance for China-EU partnership, welcomed the progress made in the relations since last summit, and charted the course for the relations, dialogue, and cooperation going forward. The two sides agreed that as the world is entering a new period of turbulence and transformation, China and the EU, as the two major forces, need to maintain regular strategic communication, enhance mutual understanding, expand cooperation, and jointly respond to global challenges. The two sides agreed to hold 5 high-level dialogues after the summit, namely the high-level strategic dialogue, economic and trade dialogue, environment and climate dialogue, digital dialogue, as well as people-to-people dialogue, to implement the results and conclusions of this summit. The summit once again shows that dialogue and cooperation remains the dominant feature of China-EU relations, and the benefit is the keynote of bilateral cooperation. China-EU relationship has its own value. It is not targeted at any other third party, nor is it dependent on or controlled by any third party. China-EU cooperation, having gone through several decades, is deeply rooted in solid public support, extensive common interests, and similar strategic needs. Such cooperation enjoys great resilience and potential. It will not be reversed by any force. We are very confident in the future of this relationship. Secondly, the summit injected impetus into China-EU dialogue and cooperation in all areas. This year, 2022, is another challenging year for the world. The two sides agreed to counter international uncertainties with the stable China-EU relationship. We need to enhance policy coordination to tackle risks and challenges and contribute to sustainable recovery. We need to increase synergy between our green development policies and expand dialogue and cooperation to further materialize green cooperation. We need to step up cooperation in digital, agricultural, technological, and emergency management sectors to foster new highlights of cooperation. We should also work together to fight COVID-19 and promote people-to-people exchange. About stabilizing the global economy, we have seen shocks in global financial markets, mounting pressure of inflation, tight energy supply, instability in industrial and supply chains, and impact on logistics links on the Euro-Asian continent. China and EU will build on the mature mechanisms, including the high-level economic and trade dialogue, economic and financial dialogue, and the macroeconomic dialogue, to strengthen communication on microeconomic policies and exchange policy coordination. The two sides will also discuss energy security, food safety, stability of industrial and supply chains, and other issues important to the global economy. About economic and trade cooperation, leaders of the two sides applauded the record high trade in goods in 2021 and showed support for deeper economic and trade cooperation. Both believed that China-EU comprehensive agreement on investment is mutually beneficial, and the two sides agreed to advance the ratification process of this agreement. The two sides spoke positively of what has been achieved in a year since entry into force of China-EU agreement on geographical indicators and called for further implementation of the agreement by publishing the second batch of protected GI lists at the end of June to ensure high standard protection of GIs of both sides. China expressed concerns over the impact on Chinese businesses by a series of economic and trade policy tools launched by the EU in recent years. We urged the EU to keep trade and investment markets open and in particular refrain from creating new barriers so as to ensure a fair, transparent and non-discriminatory business environment for Chinese businesses. About green, climate change and biodiversity cooperation. Green is a focus for industrial transformation for both sides and a highlight of our cooperation. The two sides will continue to deepen climate change cooperation and jointly work for the success of COP27. China is making active preparations for the second phase of the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Party to the Convention on Biological Diversity, and we are ready to work with the EU for a successful meeting and conclusion of an ambitious, pragmatic, and balanced post-2020 global biodiversity framework. China and the EU signed Common Ground Taxonomy, that is CGT, on sustainable finance at the end of 2021. Going forward, we need to further improve and apply the CGT to provide more guidance and support for deeper sustainable financial cooperation. About cooperation in science and technology innovation and people-to-people exchanges, the two sides agreed to make good use of China-EU high-level innovation cooperation dialogue and other existing mechanisms, renew China-EU co-funding mechanism on research and innovation cooperation at an early date, and conclude negotiations on the China-EU science and technology and innovation cooperation roadmap. The two sides agreed to hold a high-level digital dialogue as possible to set the direction and priorities of cooperation. The two sides agreed to step up dialogue and cooperation on emergency management and humanitarian issues. To further strengthen anti-COVID cooperation, China and the EU will work to close the immunization gap and make effective medicines more accessible. The two sides will work for the success of the 6th China-EU high-level people-to-people dialogue. In the context of COVID-19, we will jointly explore ways to enhance people-to-people and cultural exchange. The two sides exchanged views on human rights. China believes that human rights are concrete and based on history and reality. We urge the EU to respect each other country's independent choice of development for human rights and uphold an objective, just, and non-selective position in this area. Thirdly, the summit deepened communication and coordination on international and regional hotspot issues. Leaders of the two sides had in-depth discussions on Ukraine, the Iranian nuclear issue, the Korean Peninsula, Afghanistan, and Myanmar. They agreed that for China and the EU, these are areas of cooperation rather than points of friction. The two sides agreed on general goals such as easing tensions, ceasing hostilities, promoting peace talks, seeking political settlement, and upholding peace and stability. We have much in common in our basic positions. The two sides will maintain communication in the principle of mutual respect, build consensus, find solutions to issues, and tackle global challenges. On Ukraine, leaders of the two sides laid out their views and positions on the current situation. This has enhanced mutual understanding and produced much consensus, which is maintaining world peace, security, stability, and prosperity. Both sides support peace talks and efforts to ease tensions, prevent large-scale humanitarian crises, and rein in spillovers. Neither side hopes to see a world moving towards division. Both sides oppose a new Cold War or any form of Cold War. Both sides have come to consider what can really bring peace and whether sanctions have served to de-escalate the situation, cease hostilities, or promote peace talks. So this is what I've got to say at this stage, and I'd like to take your questions.